Despite the fact they'd only trained as a team for 3 months. But they were knocked out of the competition by a spectacular crash. It was hard to believe they lived to tell about it.
Stay in the slack, guys. Oh.
As I skated down on my head, all I could think of was that this was in front of the entire world. It was very embarrassing. The only thing that was hurt in that crash was my pride.
Now, a movie called Cool Runnings is in the theaters, based on the true madcap story of the Jamaican Bobsledders. The film's 30-year-old director, John Turteltaub, thought the movie would have as much chance at success as the Jamaican team.
I thought no one is going to see this movie. There is no way anybody in America cares about Jamaica, Jamaicans, Canada, or bobsledding. What is Disney going to sell? And what they sold are the jokes.
Cold weather endurance is vital to building a successful sled team.
One of America's top grossing movies for over a month, the success of Cool Runnings has stunned Hollywood. After all, for 5 years, nobody would commit to making it. Then the young director took a chance on the script that he feared was cursed.
It's kind of a winter sport, you know. You mean winter as in igloos and Eskimos and penguins and ice? Possibly. See you.
When I first heard of this idea of the Jamaica bobsled team, I thought it was a totally absurd and ridiculous idea.
But Devin Harris, one of the Jamaican military's star athletes, was soon talked into it. Little did he know that a movie would one day be made about his story. He used to be a sprinter who just dreamed of going to the Olympics. Then he became a bobsledder who actually did.
It would have been truly devastating if he had not qualified and had to return to Jamaica. That would have been embarrassing, in fact.
The unlikely Nordics were recruited by an American businessman named George Fitch.
If you've got good athletes, they can do any sport. So what if they don't have any snow or ice in their backyard? You go to someplace that's got snow and ice.
Just like in the movie, the team from the tropics then turned up in sub-zero temperatures in Calgary, all to compete in a Winter Olympic sport for which they only just started training.
It's a beautiful afternoon in Calgary, and there is a lot more coming up.
Is this whole thing a big joke?
I can't get my helmet on. Oh, thanks, Coach.
Why don't you put some training wheels on that sled?
In the movie, the guys had, I suppose, several weeks of training with the four-man sled. We never had that luxury. We started training the week of the four-man event. And in 1 week, we were able to achieve the 7th fastest start time. So, you know, it's incredible. And something to be proud of, really.
This triumph is all the more incredible because in real life, the team had to rent a sled from the Americans to get through the Olympic trials, and then they sold sweatshirts at the games to buy a sled.
A lot of people, as you may recall, thought that the Jamaica bobsled team was a joke, but then we went on to prove that we were not and competed well, and Jamaicans are proud of that.
All this despite the Jamaicans' crash in the 3rd race, suffering a terrible blow to their pride, but they ended up winning the respect of the world.
We were honored by the government. They put out a postage stamp with our images on it, you know, which I suppose is a very high form of praise.
Devin has now moved to New York with his family, where he works as a cook by day and studies hotel management by night. He's already dreaming about his next Winter Olympics.
Bobsledding is described as a champagne of thrills. It is, you get a rush of adrenaline, and it is almost undescribable. You just have to try it yourself. It is fantastic.
Is that a great story or what? The Jamaican bobsled team says that the hardest thing they had to learn when they got to Lake Placid was how to walk on ice. An Inside Edition weekend. We'll be right back.